One of the most recognizable figures from the silent film era, he reinvented the art of storytelling and physical comedy. Considered to be one of the most pivotal stars of the early days of Hollywood, Charlie Chaplin lived an interesting life, both in films and behind the camera, often associated with his popular character, the Little Tramp. Life wasn't easy, and Chaplin had one of the most amazing rags-to-riches stories of all time. Today, we'll take a look at Chaplin's childhood and early career, his struggles to survive, and ultimately his big break in the industry. All that and more coming up. Charles Spencer Chaplin was born April 16, 1889 in London, to Hannah and Charles Chaplin Sr. Both parents were stage performers in the music halls of London. Charlie also had an older brother named Sidney. Less than a year after Charlie's birth, his father abandoned the family to tour music halls across the country. He was a selfish alcoholic who couldn't cope with raising a family. Charlie wouldn't see his father again for many years. Hannah struggled to provide for her growing boys on a meager music hall performer's salary. They lived in extreme poverty, and in 1894, while performing on stage, Hannah lost her voice. The production manager pushed the 5-year-old Chaplin on stage to replace her. He had heard Charlie singing the songs backstage before. The crowd absolutely loved it, but this was a sad moment because Hannah was unable to perform again. Over the next few years, Hannah worked several odd jobs, but the family of 3 was on the brink of starvation. At the age of 7, Charlie was sent to the Lambeth workhouse for the destitute. He remained there for 18 months before being reunited with his mother. This reunion, however, was brief, and by July of 1898, Charlie and Sidney were sent to the Norwood Schools, which was another institute for destitute children. In September of that same year, Hannah was committed to the Cane Hill Asylum. It is believed by many that malnutrition and living conditions contributed to her mental decline. Charlie and Sidney were sent to live with Charles Sr. They hadn't seen him in over 8 years and hardly knew anything about him. By this time, his father was an extreme alcoholic who wanted nothing to do with the boys. Times were so bad that the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children removed the boys from his father's care. Drinking was a professional problem amongst many music hall stars of the period, and it was alcoholism that eventually killed Charles Chaplin Sr. at the age of 38. With both parents unable to care for the boys, they were left to fend for themselves. With the help of his parents' friends in the music hall scene, Charlie was able to land a tap dancing gig with the 8 Lancashire Lads clog dancing troupe, which toured English music halls throughout 1899 and 1900. And by 10 years old, Charlie was able to do for himself that neither parents could. Chaplin supported himself with a range of jobs, while nursing his ambition to become an actor. Chaplin got his first big break in 1903, when he registered with a theatrical agency in London. This led to his first legitimate theatrical role as a newsboy. The show was a flop and closed after 2 weeks. Charlie's performance, however, was praised by critics. This role led to another, Billy the Page Boy, in a production of Sherlock Holmes. The show went for 3 nationwide tours, and this kept Chaplin employed as an actor until the end of 1905. In 1906, Charlie reunited with his brother Sidney, was also pursuing an acting career. The two would go on tour with a new troupe. He joined the act Casey's Circus, where he was finally able to perform comedy. Chaplin quickly became the star of the show. At the end of the tour in 1907, Charlie tried his hand at a solo act but ultimately failed. Charlie's brother Sidney, however, joined the popular Fred Karno Comedy Company. He became one of Karno's key performers. This opened up the door for Charlie. Karno was hesitant to add Charlie to the troupe, stating he looked too shy to do any good in theater. Sidney managed to secure a 2-week trial period for his brother. Charlie didn't need 2 weeks and was signed right away. Chaplin found his greatest success by playing the inebriate swell, which was an early version of the tramp. Charlie was quickly elevated in the troupe and became the star of the show, alongside Stan Laurel. Fred Karno selected his top stars to go on tour in the U.S. vaudeville scene. The tour ran for 21 months and was a massive success. Karno took the troupe back to the U.S. for a second tour. A few months into the tour, Chaplin was recruited by the New York Motion Picture Company under the Keystone Studios label. He signed a contract for $150 a week in September of 1913 and began working in January of 1914. Chaplin never gave up on his dream and honed his craft for years. Each one of his hardships led to another opportunity, and things just fell into place. It's amazing how a child of 10 years old can go out in the world and take care of themselves. It was a tough road, but he eventually made his way. This is where we'll end today's video. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more videos just like this.